So we are getting deeper into our aesthetics unit, and today's subject was music. And music is cool. Music is fun. Music is a big part of our lives. I've even seen people where their friend group and the subculture they affiliate with and self-identity is intertwined with music. And music, like all aesthetics, can fit into these 8 criteria. And in class, we chose a song that is most representative of the individuals in this class. And in looking at these songs, hopefully we get beyond of cool song. That song sucked. I like that. I don't like that. Okay, that's a starting point, okay? Not a great starting point. But let's go a little deeper. So when you hear this music, what concept is the song? What adjective would you subscribe to it? What value does the song possess? What attitude is the artist putting forward in his or her music? What was the intention of creating the music? What type of art is it? Especially this derivative part, songs that use samples, is it original? Is it copying or derivative? How about song remakes? Expression, watching how people react to the song that you chose is the expression. Representation, is the song accurate or is it phony? And I think we can see authenticity in music, and at least I can, and see the phoniness in some artists, and the object of the art. What was the mission of the song, and was it accomplished? So these 8 criteria apply to paintings like we did yesterday, and it applies to music. But before we chose that song, we took a step back and read about how philosophers in the past viewed music and various points of view. Now, going back to the ancient Greeks with Pythagoras, yes, that Pythagoras of the Pythagorean theorem, he quoted, "There is geometry in the humming of the strings. There is music in the spacing of the spheres." Essentially, it's a very sterile definition of music. It's a mathematical sort of outcome. And I'm not saying there's not math involved with music, but that's probably just a starting point. Now, Plato, he said, music is moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and everything. And he felt music was so powerful it had to be regulated in the hands of young people. Now, I've been to a few school dances. Plato might be right, but here in America, with our freedom to listen to what we want, that certainly wouldn't fly. But he said it was really, really powerful to the point it had to be regulated. Now, Leibniz said, music is the hidden arithmetic exercise of a mind unconscious that is calculating. So we see this evolution how philosophers view music. Now, Hogarth said, the minuet is allowed by the dancing, masters themselves to be perfection of all dancing. So he felt dance in conjunction with music is this higher form of art that you have to incorporate dance, and some people certainly feel that. They only listen to music that makes them dance. Now, Immanuel Kant said, even the Song of Birds, which we can bring under no musical rule, seems to have more freedom and therefore more taste than a song of a human being which is produced in accordance with all the rules of music. For we very much sooner weary of the latter, if it is repeated often and at length. And I'll tell you what, some songs on the radio that are played over and over and over, when it's repeated often and at length, I think I might hear birds themselves. But again, this is very typical of, coming from Immanuel Kant. Now, Schopenhauer said, the inexpressible depth of music, so easy to understand and yet so inexplicable, is due to the fact that it reproduces all the emotions of our innermost being, but entirely without reality and remote from its pain. Music expresses only the quintessence of life and its events, never these themselves. So this, I think, is a lot more of a modern take that a lot of people would look at, where it just expresses these inexplicable, deep, deep emotions. And Nietzsche said, without music, life would be a mistake. Well, a lot of people would agree with Nietzsche. All right, so anyway, we talked about the 8 criteria, and we talked about some of the philosophers. Now, some of these terms and concepts outside of these 8 criteria will emerge when we start listening to music. And notion number 1 is music as a reflection of self. I asked you to pick one song that is you. So the song you chose is a reflection of self. Now, in listening to some of these songs, we have to look at the notion that art reflects culture, culture reflects art. They are interconnected. They feed off each other, and that comes up. Now, this idea of catharsis, where you have all of this emotion and it just is released through music. Some music is very cathartic, and what might be cathartic to one might not be cathartic to others. Genre. Oftentimes, when we do this, people will hear a song and they don't like a particular type of music. They will say, oh, all heavy metal is bad. All rap is bad. I have a real hard time listening to bubblegum pop. It's a tough genre to listen to. But hopefully we can go beyond that. And even though you might not like it as your first choice, you might be able to see the value, or at least where the person who is presenting it has validity in why they picked the song. And then transcendence, again, going back to Schopenhauer, this beyond the everyday, this almost other plane of existence that music can take you to. Now, before we start criticizing each other too harshly, and I hope our criticism is more philosophically based, not your song sucks, my song's cool. Okay, that's simpleton stuff. Now, Sartre said, the aim of language is to communicate, to impart to others the results one has obtained. As I talk, I reveal the situation. I reveal it to myself and to others in order to change it. So he's saying use our words carefully. Now, communicate. It's okay to do so, to criticize, but in a way that's, again, using evidence, not just pure emotion. Now, Bob Dylan is not a philosopher by any means, or maybe some people feel he's a philosopher, but not in the classic sense. Musical artist said, don't criticize what you can't understand. So try to be open to understanding why people chose the song, or being exposed to new forms of music, and keep an open mind. And again, if you don't have a musical background, especially in one area, stay open-minded. Just don't dog it out because you don't get it. And going full circle, when you go in front of the class and you present your song, I ask you to do this first. Really check the song that you chose and be able to answer this, because you know your classmates are going to be hitting you with this, and you might see it as a different concept. You might see a different value. You might see a different attitude, so on and so forth. So understand that when a criticism or a critique is coming, be able to prepare for it by going through this. And we're going to wrap up class with this journal entry, or we did wrap up class with this journal entry, excuse me. Choose one song that personifies you as a person. Take it through the 8 criteria for aesthetics and prepare to present it to the class, explaining the merits of the song. Also critique some of your classmates' musical choices. So in the end, you're going to be turning in that sheet with your information that applies to your song. I'm going to read it and see, philosophically where you are. But also I'm going to ask you to write some thoughts on your classmates' musical choices. And again, music is a fantastic thing. It's a wonderful thing. And to being able to stay open-minded and see it with philosophical eyes, to use aesthetics, I personally feel is going to make music even more enjoyable than what it is now. So, thank you for watching.